Hi, welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We're so happy to be here again with you today. I am your only host this time, but we have a very special show this weekend that we are so excited to share with you. As you know, me, Peyton, and Camille, all three of us, are student engagement activists, and we've had the privilege to be working in the public schools here, helping support children who are below grade level to read. And this week, we are so excited to share a very special story with you. Please kick back and enjoy the story of Tyler the Reader. So, Stree, you were the main one that taught Tyler once he came to RBE for intervention, for help.
Right.
What condition was he in when he sent to us? I know he was in 4th grade, but what were his reading levels?
So when he first came to us, it was back in last year, August. He came to us, he really didn't know his alphabet, not even all his alphabet, and of course the sounds with it. He could recognize some, but for sure not all of them. And but worse than that, his confidence level was so low that you couldn't just go in and even give him a regular test, to see where he's at, because he would just refuse to do it. Like he was embarrassed.
So he'd shut down?
Right. And he didn't want to show that he couldn't do it. He was, he was a major problem to the school. You can see him throwing these big fits, and the behavior coaches trying to help him.
We were at odds when it came to the school, and we were at odds when it came to trying to teach him. And then...
Was it difficult to work with the school?
It wasn't difficult. It was the fact that he was having problems working with the school himself, because he'd get irritated with one teacher, but then he would have to be tossed off to another teacher. They were throwing him too many teachers.
Yes.
And as they were, doing that and everything, it would make him frustrated.
Obviously, children need stability.
They're trying to push them faster than what they need them. Like when I was telling him that he still needed time with the pronunciation or other stuff,
They weren't hearing.
and when I was telling them that he needed more time, doing other words and stuff like that, they were trying to push him to do harder words, or to go off and try to read more than what his capacity was at that point in time, because he was slowly learning it in the first place. And instead, they wanted to take away the reading part for him, that, when it helped him read and stuff, and then he had to push the button and it actually read the word to him. They wanted to take that away, and then just let him do it all by himself, and then just go off and start criticizing him because he couldn't read it correctly. And that was irritating. I said, don't take the auto away. Keep the auto until that he's getting these correct and everything. And then they got mad at me because they said that he wasn't pushing as far as he needed to go. He wasn't making good enough progress. I said, you can't push a child to make progress, especially if they're having problems in the first place, and they were having problems in the different schools that wasn't helping them and wasn't teaching him in the first place, and just passing him. You can't. It can't be helped. You have to be patient about something like that.
And you need a community support to be able to get through that, because as we saw now, the school wasn't able to do it alone. Maybe they had good intentions. You mentioned there was really good teachers there.
Oh yeah, they're really nice, but they were trying. It just the teachers were trying to do their best, but then when it came to the resource lady that was the head of everybody, she wanted to push and push and push and try to get me to understand. I'm like, I completely understand this, but you can't push before you get bit. The more you push him in the corner, the worse it's going to backfire at you.
Yes,
and
that's right.
I told her, you can't push him or he's going to shut down. And when she did try to do that push and stuff, he shut down completely for a little bit.
Even his posture told the story of Great Depression. I didn't know such a young boy like that could be so depressed. His whole posture was hunched over. It really looked like
I remember that. I remember how he was when he first came in.
It looked like he needed to go to the chiropractor. I was like, we really should refer him to chiropractor, because he's so hunched over, and that can't be healthy. But he was so depressed, he never smiled, and it just looked like he was upset at the world, and he was very, very miserable. So we took him in, and we had to play a game to even figure out where he's at the best I could, because I couldn't just do it like somebody in kindergarten. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
You couldn't just give
they're
a regular.
fresh, but no, he was older, so I had to not embarrass him, but still test him on kindergarten level.
So then you started like really, really basic with him. But you
Right.
said in kind of like games.
Games for sure. Since he didn't know all his alphabet, we had to teach that to him. But I couldn't just do the flashcards and A says
And
like
apple.
yeah, like that was too babyish for him. Like he would say stuff like, "Oh, that's babyish," but at the same time, he didn't know all his alphabet. So we started building words right away. I had letter tiles, and we would build the words. And the very beginning, he couldn't hear the sounds, like to break it up. And then he got to the place where he could start blending, but everything had to be a roundabout way, a game that we had to make. And then later on, we started to get him to practice reading the simple CVC words. We started playing like tic-tac-toe. Made tic-tac-toe, put the words in there. And before we could make an X or an O, he had to read it. And he wanted to play the game so badly that he did
He would
that.
read the word.
And so it was a way to trick him into reading.
I was going to say, I remember you being very creative, like using all kinds of different games and markers and boards. And I remember one time something with rubber bands, like y'all just y'all just did whatever it took. But I was going to say, I think it was a really good strategy to get him building words right away because he really believed he couldn't read.
Right.
And with that, you could show him. That way you could show him, no, look, you can.
Yes.
You know what that letter says? That letter, you can make this word. And I think that was a big part of the work that you did with him was helping him to understand he could read. I remember when you gave him to me for, like, out of the whole year, I only had him, like, 2 or 3 weeks. You had to go on a trip. And I worked with him a little bit one-on-one, so not nearly as much as you did. But I got to see, like, just, how low his confidence levels were. And he was, he was always nice and respectful in class, but it was just like pulling teeth to get him to read because he really thought he couldn't.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, like, okay, we need to somehow encourage this boy. And it's going to take, we're going to have to tell him over and over for it to sink in.
Yes.
But I was like, Tyler, you can read. I can't read. I was like, yes, you're a reader. We're going to call you Tyler the reader because you can read. He thought that was funny. I'm not a reader. I was like, yes, you are, and you will be. And we just tried to do that. Like, we didn't get to work with him like you did, but we would see him, the rest of us girls, as he'd be walking around, and we'd see him be like, there's Tyler the reader. Just like try to give him that daily reminder, like, hey, this is who you are. This is who you can be. This is what you're working towards. Just because someone gave you, negativity doesn't mean that's what you have to live out for the rest of your life.
Really what helped him is the ALECtion philosophy. It was about that time that we actually put our philosophy into writing that we were operating with. And we focused on pouring in the love and the acknowledgement and acknowledging, actually seeing him as a human being and not just as another number in the school and another person to put stats on.
Right, exactly.
So actually seeing the child and giving him recognition for who he is and that he actually has something to offer the world.
Yes.
And
He's a
even
gift.
give him enough of a standing to start to learn to read.
It's just a foundation, right, to grow from. I was thinking about what you said about not just being another number. I think that was another struggle they had with the school, which I'm not blaming the school. It's difficult in the system to be able to properly give attention to a child. But they were saying how they felt like he was being pushed and pushed and pushed, which is obvious. I mean, he got to 4th grade and still couldn't read because, I mean, they just want data. They want, and even after they started trying to work with him, it was still like, okay, can he read this much? But like, give him a minute, This is kind of like his first time really learning. He's not going to all of a sudden explode into a perfect reader overnight. And as you can testify, like even right now, he's still not like, where he should be. He's not grade level now. Has he improved? Majorly.
Yes.
But also, like, just a big part of his story is him having moved into a place where he could improve of confidence and of being seen and loved and knowing this is who I am and this is what I can do. Anyway, it's been like a great experience, I think, for you, for us, for Real Bug Excellence. as much as he's been blessed by our help, whatever it is, we've been just as blessed getting to help him, right? And I think you've been like getting more, like doing more studies and gathering information about this type of stuff. Was there like something in particular that you, that impressed you or that you like thought to remember or to mention?
So there's this one study that's done. I was looking at, especially at incarceration rates and what, like how illiteracy is the pipeline from school to
The school to prison pipeline.
Yes. So I was looking especially at that. I was like, surely there's something we can do to help the community, because we're looking at the community and they're so troubled. We're in the poorest area even in the nation. And like, how can we directly help these? And in my studies, I found that 85% of the juveniles in the court system are functionally literate. And I was like,
That's crazy.
and then you find other studies about how they look at the third grade reading scores to find out how many beds to make in prison.
That's wild.
Like, it's just, I'm like, why
It's
don't you
direct.
just,
It's direct.
What we need to do is we need to find the Tylers and actually make a difference now while they're young, before they become criminals. They say 1 in 4 children in the U.S. grow up not knowing how to read.
That sounds like something from the 1800s or a third world country. Like, it just seems like surely not in America.
I know, it's America. So I was inspired by this specific situation this year teaching Tyler, because not only has he grown from emerging kindergarten level to I would say he's reading on first grade level now. Not only has he made such a great improvement that way, his confidence level, he stands so straight and tall now.
He does.
He's
He
so
smiles
proud.
all the time.
He's always laughing and cracking some joke or willing to talk to you, and it's the change is just, it's like a different boy altogether.
It is.
And then not only has he changed in his confidence level, he's gone on to write a book.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you about. I was
Yes.
like, so this was like part of your helping him, right?
Yes.
To gain confidence. And I wanted to know the story
So
of
one
that.
particular time that I was helping him, he was getting tired of reading and was starting to get silly with it. He would just add words, and it wasn't like a misread, you know how children misread, and not just children, but people misread and start adding stuff. It wasn't like that. It was purposely.
It was definitely purposeful.
He would just finish off the sentence and make up stuff and then keep going. And I was like, Tyler, that's pretty interesting. You really should write a book. And his face lit up so bright. He was
Really?
like, please, may we, like, or I'm sure he didn't say may we, but can we, like, can we write a book? And then I was like, of course we can. He was like, okay, let's do it. I was like, no, wait. Before we write a book, we're going to have to finish the story. And so we finished the book, of course, that we were on. And then we got out our notebook and our pen and started writing notes about what we wanted the book to be. And as it developed, of course, it was his thoughts. As it developed, it turned out to be, like, he was talking about animal. Like, first he wanted to talk about a dog. I was like, okay, what is the story going to be about? It had to be a dog. I was like, okay, that's not, like, that's great. So, dog, does the dog have a name, or what kind of dog is it? Like, trying to pull out the thoughts out of his mind. He said, yes, I want to call it Yellow. And then I was like, okay, that's a great name. And then we, wrote notes on that.
You mentioned earlier how he might have been inspired by the fact that you were reading him Old Yeller at the time.
Yes. And then we went on, and there was other animals that came into the scene. I know the bunny bit the fish. And it's a cute little story. But then as it started unfolding, I was like, okay, so we need to think about the climax. Where are we going with this story? What is the point of this? Like, where do you want to take the reader to? Where is it going to climax? And then, of course, I told him what climax is. And then he was like, and then he just started talking. I had to keep up. Like, it was hard to keep up writing with what he was saying. He was like, oh, I'm going to talk about how all the animals were messing with him. And nobody liked him, and everybody was talking about how they were smarter than him and better than him and faster than him. Like, and he just kept going on like that. And then he was like, and I want to say at the end that they become friends, and they actually find out that they need each other. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
love that.
Now, you have them, it's from enemies to friends. What made you like, what were you thinking about? So you're obviously thinking about, okay, they're enemies, and so your mind's going through a little story, and then at the end, what makes you have that thought at the end that they got to live together, like we're friends?
Because it looked like at first they were all just trying to play around. So they might as well become friends because then they can play around even more and hang out. And Yellow,
Yeah, hang out. That's right.
They might as well.
Yellow could, because at the beginning of it says Yellow was playing with his toy and he wanted a friend. So he got his friends he wanted.
That's good. Yeah, it's not just that he wrote a book or he has this idea and the sparks. It's that he writes a book that brings everybody together. He actually writes a book about community. Those are his thoughts. That's amazing to me.
I love that.
And I was like, and as he was speaking, I was like, this has to be his story.
Yeah.
He's expressing his own experience through writing about these animals.
Came straight from his heart,
Yes.
didn't it? So Hustling Backwards published this book. What was like Tyler's and his family's reaction to like getting a copy of this book he wrote?
So when the hard copy finally came in the mail, we took a box over to Tyler's home and met on his doorstep. He was so excited.
I imagine.
He was beaming from ear to ear. He was so happy. And so we let him open the box and pull out the book for the first time. And his dad, he actually works third shift. So usually he's sleeping during the time that we could go there. So, but he wanted to see it so badly, he stayed up for it. So the whole family met out there out on the doorstep and watched Tyler open the book. They were so proud of him.
I'm sure.
And Tyler, he couldn't stop smiling. Later, the next day, so I've been doing summer school with him. And the next day, Tyler's like, do you know what? I was like, what? He's like, my dad cried.
Aww. And didn't he dedicate it to his mom and dad
He
and
did.
everything? I love
The
that.
first page was like, to my dad, my mom, my grandma, and my grandpa.
I love that.
And yeah, he's like, my dad cried. So
That's
I was
really
like,
sweet.
hey, that's sweet.
I'm so glad that.
He actually, we work closely with the mayor. And so we were giving him an update, an RBE update of, we do that from time to time, stop it and give him an update. So we were doing that, and so then we talked to him about Tyler. We're like, okay, here's
Told
his
him
book.
the story.
And told the story, and he was so touched because he works closely with us in education and everything. We told him the story, and he was so touched. He was like, I don't want to take this book right now, but what I'll do, is there a way that I can meet Tyler? And I was like, oh, absolutely. I'll talk to his parents, and I'm sure we can work that out. And he said, I would love that. And then he was like, I want him to autograph my book.
Aw.
And then he was like, and do you know what? This is dedicated to, and then he read it to his dad, his mom, grandma, and grandpa. He said, I want to meet them. I want to meet his mom, and I want to meet his dad and his grandma and his grandpa. Bring them into the office. I was like, oh yeah, for sure, we'll set it up. So then the very next week, the mayor had an opening in his schedule, so we went there, and it was a very, very touching scene.
It was. I'm so thankful I got to be there. And the mayor, bless his heart, was tearing up as he tried to like talk about it.
Yes.
It was just very special. His grandma stood up and was talking about how special it was for her. Like, it just felt like a moment. Like, and I just felt like, oh, I hope to God that this is just like a seed. This is just the beginning of a much bigger work that we're going to be doing.
His mom told us that people had tried, and they really did. There's hard work in educators.
Absolutely.
And she tried, and her sister, so his aunt, tried everything that they could do, but they just weren't making any, like, his confidence was so low that it was just, he was a really hard case to get through. But by using the ALECtion philosophy really is what broke through to him. And his mom was just so appreciative of it. So, but we've been doing, so this summer, like I said, that we've been doing summer school with him. We've been exposing him as much as possible to other experiences, such as we took him to the zoo for his first time in his life. His favorite part was the snakes, which was my worst. But he loved the snakes. There was a cute little baby elephant there, and he liked that. So we had fun like that. We took him on bike rides and
He's still talking about that bike ride with good stuff. He loved that.
Took him to the museum and different things like that. And he really has changed.
Yeah, he's just kind of opened up like a flower.
Yes.
It's been a beautiful thing to watch.
He's actually, I can see him going on to do something mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
He's always trying to
loves
fix
cars.
something, and he knows cars. Like he'll be giving me okay, what kind of truck is that? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. He's like, you don't know just by looking. I was like, no.
But he does, right?
Yeah, he does.
He's a very talented boy.
And this is whatever year it is. I was like, how do you know that? He's like, I don't know. I just know it.
He does. He's a very talented boy. And the crazy thing is, like, in some way, everyone is. Everyone just doesn't have someone to see that and draw out of them. And that's all a child needs.
Yes.
Someone to notice it and help them find, what are you gifted at?
It's
what
really
are you good at?
cultivating.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. It's so amazing. And now, shameless plug, Tyler's book. We're going to drop a link in the comments. It's published by Hustling Backwards, and it's a beautiful thing. Tyler, a 4th grader, he comes from a low-income family, low-income neighborhood, low-income school, but he's been able to write a book. He's been able to be seen. He's been able to be heard. His confidence has been inspired. And we are so proud of Tyler, and we're so grateful for the opportunity that we've had to work with him. And now, on all our posts that we make, we put hashtag Find the Tylers, because that's what we're about as student engagement activists. Sister Ree, me, the rest of us girls that get to work together for Real Black Excellence, that's what our burden is. We want to find the children that have been told they can't read, that are headed for the way things are right now, that are headed for prison. We want to find them, snatch them up, and show them some love. Use, like she already mentioned, the ALECtion method of acknowledgement, love, engagement, and cultivation to help get them out of these situations. It's not their fault that they get put in these situations. They didn't ask for it. These are innocent children, but God gave us a gift. God called us to be teachers, and we're not just going to let our gift go to waste. We're not just going to, we refuse to hide our talent in the earth, as the story in the Bible says, but we have a burden to find the Tylers. And if you have a burden to help support, we ask, please buy Tyler's book. 100% of the profits go to him.
For the first printing.
And the first 100% of the profits go to him. Now, Hustling Backwards has it set up. I'm going to let Sister Ree tell you about the rest of it.
So we have it set up to where 25% goes directly to the author, and then 25% goes directly to the community, and 25% is directed by the author to any organization or charity or anything that they want to direct it to, and then the last 25% goes to the company, Hustling Backward, to obviously so we can keep printing books.
So we think our setup is the best possible way of supporting the community and the artist in all the best ways. So please help support Tyler by purchasing his book. And we're so excited to find more Tylers, print more books, and we hope to see you in the comments. Please drop a little yellow dog if you can find one. Hope you enjoyed this special edition this week. Stay tuned for more stories like Tyler, as it is absolutely our goal to hashtag Find the Tylers. You know what time it is. Peace, love, and hair grease.